to go. We have Gus Seminary joining us today. He's back. He's healthy. He looks strong. We have Double R Rob Ronnie behind the glass, making all the magic happen.
What's up?
And now joining us today, filling in, Mr. DDT, the Pennypack Park Pilgrim, or whatever you want to call him. He was born in the Pennypack Park. He's the man, Mr. One Mark Gordon. How you doing this morning, Mark?
Yo, I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here.
All right. And soon when my father gets in, he's a little late. He's had to take care of some bathroom problems, but, you know, that's my dad for you. So we're off to a great start. He'll be joining us a little later today. So, gentlemen, let's get right to it. Let's get right into some college hoops. Since it's March, it's a whole new month. We've been, looking at all the teams that are heading into March Madness. First of all, and I'll start with you, Gus. What's your prediction with this Villanova and Penn State team, since they're pretty much going to be the only two teams that make it to the dance? Just hit the middle button there, Gus. Oh, no. Cancel. Oh, great. Anyways, so what's your prediction on Villanova and Penn State?
This year the college hoops they're all over the place. I don't know if you noticed, but not only Villanova and Penn State, a couple of the other teams they haven't been playing to their potential. I think it's really hard to pinpoint how they're going to do in the tournament. Unfortunately, I don't see them going too far. Villanova might get a second round exit. I believe. I hope not, because I love Villanova and I hope they do well. And the problem is that they have the keys to get it done. They're not playing to that level. And you see it all the time when a couple losses that they've had in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Listen, Villanova. I saw him go down yesterday. I mean, I'm seeing the first time I'm ever seeing a furious Jay Wright yesterday. I'm seeing, like you said, they're starting to fall apart a little bit, both squads. However, I'm thinking Penn State. I think they're both going to be a first-round exit in the tournament. Mark, what's your take on both these teams?
Well, I mean, it's nice to see Penn State even in the dance. They're not like a big-time participant in that, but I don't expect much from them. It's nice to see them in there. Nova, you don't know. It's once they get to the tournament, they got a shot because they got the coach, and he's got the knowledge to maybe steal a first round. Definitely, I think they can get to the second. I don't think they'll go out in the first round.
Okay, so you think they'll move around?
Yeah, I think they'll win a round. Second round, I'm not so sure.
Well, look at yesterday. I mean, they lost against Iowa. Not that Iowa is a bad team, but they're
right.
They're
not even a ranked team.
Well, no, they are. They're 18.
Oh, right.
But,
that's right.
And they're close in skill wise, but still, I don't think they have that edge to get them past that second round. They might get past the first round. Yeah. It could happen. I just don't think that they go any further than that.
Of course, they're probably going to get like a 3-4 seed in the tournament, so they're probably going to go up against a team they should be favored by a decent amount. So the first round, they really should get by that. Second round is going to be that's going to be a much tougher challenge. And
yeah, I agree. Like you said, when you start to go through the tournament, it's going to be tough. Rob, do you have what's your predictions on Villanova and Penn State this year?
Oh boy, I don't.
One thing you're going to know, Mark, Rob is honest. He don't.
That's what we want.
That's right. He don't weigh the pom poms for nobody.
Yeah. Now Nova. I mean, Nova looks like they're struggling. They look like they're struggling actually more with foul shots costing them games. Like, I know there's been a few games this year where if they would have made their foul shots, they would have won. I mean, it's just simple as that. And
that's why Jay's so furious anymore, because these are things that you should be doing. Again, these are free throws or free points. So they're missing them. They're costing them games.
Yeah, I agree. It's killing them right now. But anyway, who's your pick to win this whole tournament?
You're gonna think I'm crazy. I have a good feeling about Gonzaga this year.
Ooh.
I do. I have a very good feeling about Gonzaga.
I like Gonzaga, too. They're strong.
Yeah.
They're a strong team on both sides of the court.
Yeah.
So, Mark, do you have a team do you have a pick right now?
I mean, I like Gonzaga also. Of course, you always got to watch out for Kansas. That's I don't want to jump on a band and be like pick the top team.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. It's going to be a crapshoot. I know that.
Yeah, it's going to be
It's
fun
an
to
exciting
watch.
time of year.
I feel like these brackets are going to look very different. Everybody's going to have their own opinion. It's so close this
cool.
year, man. There is higher ranked teams, but there's really no like sole
cut.
team.
No,
like
there's no
there's no clear shot to the championship this year.
I'm taking the Tar Heels as a sleeper.
Ooh.
Well, they're always asleep. They're
They ain't
good
sleeping
coaching
nothing.
and they have good play.
North Carolina's a sleeper. Hey.
Yes.
They're always there, man.
Yeah.
Let me go into all right, let me ask you guys another question. So go back to another local team. Let's talk about Temple. They're not obviously going to do anything this year, but what kind of job do you think Aaron McKee has done so far? Are you happy with it? I mean, do you see progress in the future for this guy?
I do.
For a former Sixer, I mean,
I do. I think Aaron McKee is very smart, and he showed you that even as a player. He knows what he's doing. Right now, he may not have the talent fully that he needs to get what he needs to get done, but he does have the skill when it comes to as a basketball mind. He has the skill to get it. I mean, you need to get this program and take it up. I think he's going to do a great job. He just needs to get, his recruiting team needs to go ahead and get him what he needs.
Yeah, that's true.
In order to get there.
Yeah, look, I've been happy with what I've seen so far from Aaron McKee. Like you said, a great basketball mind. He knows how to take care of the business on the court. He's played the game. He's played alongside of Iverson. So I do like where he's going. So I think the team, in future times could be a big time, maybe in a tournament at some point, in his tenure as a coach. Okay, well, on the line with us right now, we have my good buddy. I love him to death like a brother. My man, Mark Farzad. What's going on, buddy?
Yo, Pat. Good morning, brother. What's going on?
Hold on.
Well, he'll be joining us. I thought,
Mark, you there? Mark, you there?
Yeah, you got me?
there he is. Yo, Mark, what's going on,
Okay.
buddy?
No, good. All right, we're all good. How you doing?
Yeah, good,
to be
good.
on with you guys again.
Mark, it's great to have you, brother. Listen, so far we dived in a little Temple hoops. I know you're a Temple man yourself, so let me ask you the quick question, Ray. What do you? Are you happy with your seen of Aaron McKee so far?
It's kind of what I expected. I didn't expect a big jump. When I expect a big jump is when they're able to do some recruiting. One of the things I liked about Aaron McKee, even before he was brought in, just the idea of bringing him in as the head coach was, I'd rather have Aaron McKee sitting in that living room with mom and dad of a kid that's a very talented young man about to come to Temple University. And he's still using a lot of the same guys, obviously everybody almost that Fran Dunphy is using. And when you look at, Pierre Louis, you look at Quentin Rose, all those guys, they're good athletes. They're good guys. I'm just waiting for that first recruitment class that 100% belongs to Aaron McKee, because I feel a lot of the Philly talent might even stay in Philadelphia because of Aaron McKee and the roots that he has here himself and the success that he's had in his basketball career.
Yeah, that's a terrific point. I will agree. Like we were just talking about Aaron McKee, I think he's just a great basketball mind. He's a former Sixer. I mean, he knows the town, he knows the city. So, like you were saying, he would know how to, guide a young mind and tell him, where, what steps to follow. So, but I'm here to shift gears a little bit here. On to the Sixers. Everyone, hopefully March will bring some happiness, not madness, to this team. And how do you see them playing out on the next 4 road games?
Well, I mean, happiness or honesty? What would you prefer? Because, the Clippers without Ben Simmons, without Joel Embiid, on the road is tough enough, obviously, as we know from watching this team all season. Then we also have, obviously, the Lakers. Again, no Ben Simmons, no Joel Embiid. We know Joel Embiid's not playing in those games. I think he'll rejoin the team against the Kings. and then he'll probably play against the Warriors. So he'll probably go out and join the team then. I don't think he's with the team now. I just don't see those as wins. I see them as tough losses. They might hang in there against the Lakers. Just on a hunch. Tobias Harris did something really interesting, and I'm not even talking about necessarily the 34 points, but if you just watch the way he played that game Thursday night, that's the way he played when he was in Los Angeles, when he was with the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
He had all sorts of freedom. He could go inside. He could post up. He could have that mid-range game. He hit his three with consistency. I say this all the time. Whenever a player that we have our eyes on, like Joel Embiid, for instance, when he scores 49 points, you're not going to get 49 points every night. But what that player can do is play that style of basketball every single night. It might not result in 49 points, but when you see a guy like Joel Embiid start on the post as opposed to the three-point line and dribble down and not turn the basketball over and just concentrate on scoring, not necessarily ball handling, he's a much better player. Do that every night. Tobias Harris, when he's using his mid-range game, his three-point game, when he's using his post-up ability, that's when he's at his best. That's what you can see. Might not be 34 points. Maybe it'll be 25. Maybe it'll be 20, whatever. But that's the style of play that he can play the best.
Yeah, I mean, and right, like you say, just stay down low. Just keep that posted. I mean, but it just seems like this coach, and I've heard you say it, I mean, the coach does seem like he's lost his locker room. I mean, at home, they're fine and dandy, but, now we're back on the road. I don't know what they expect from this team. I don't know if they're playing at night. I don't know if they're clubbing at night, but something's happening to this team that they just don't take, they pretend Brett Brown's not even there. So me and my old man have discussed it. Part of the Sixers' troubles, we think that could be, we looked at this Flyers team. They dived into the farm system where, the guys don't have the guaranteed contract money, so they're applying for that contract money. Or when the Eagles, when Alshon Jeffries went down and they had to grab guys out of their, practice squad, like those guys are not guaranteed money. So, I mean, do you think they need to dive somewhere, maybe the G League or somewhere, to find guys who want to play basketball, or rather guys who don't care whether they miss or not because they're guaranteed that money?
No, I don't think it has to do with guaranteed money. I mean, everyone's money is guaranteed, and the guys have, I don't know, this isn't a new thing where coaches might get ignored in the locker room. One thing that was interesting that Tobias Harris did tell me was that he said that the coach will never lose the locker room as long as he's in the locker room. And then you heard Tobias Harris Thursday night after that 34-point game, and he was talking about how he's a leader in the locker room. So I believe him that he's a leader in the locker room and he's trying to keep the team together and behind the head coach. But I just don't know who has that kind of power to convince somebody else that already might be out on something. Like, you ever been out on something in your life and just been like, yeah, I'm done with that. No, thanks. And has anyone ever come up to me and be like, hey, no, you should really try that. Go see that movie again. And then did you all of a sudden like that movie? No, the movie still sucks. So, like, that's kind of how I see this relationship here. Like, no one can really turn anybody's opinion on Brett Brown. I think they know what they have in him. I think they know what they have in him as a head coach. And I'm talking as the players. And I think a lot of it has to do more so with the fact they can run the asylum, as the saying goes. They know what they can get away with. They're comfortable with him. I think a new coach does have to come in here. I don't think that's going to happen it's not going to happen this year. I'd be shocked if it did. After this season, when you see how it ends up, if they don't make the Eastern Conference Finals, definitely if they don't make the NBA Final, I don't see Brett Brown. It would really take probably a Finals appearance to keep him here in Philadelphia.
Hey, Mark, it's Rob here. I've been on the Brett Brown, be gone since 2017. I see a lot of things with him that, I just see a lot of things where he lets Joel and Ben get away with a lot of things. Like, for instance, I don't know what the organization can do about this, but isn't it kind of funny that all of a sudden Ben Simmons has a back injury after the Instagram stories on his page where he's jumping off docks with all his buddies and fooling around and everything, and now he has a back injury where he's going to miss 2 weeks of basketball? Or it could be a month.
No, it is.
And no one does anything? No one says anything to him about it?
Well, I don't know what they have said and what they haven't said to him. It is a really bad look, and that Instagram story would bother me a lot more if I didn't see him go down like a sack of potatoes in the All-Star game the way he did. Because he hit his back on the ground. It looked very hard. If that didn't happen in the game, I would be screaming and yelling about the incident. What's he doing going on a boat, throwing people over, whatever. Guys. But when I see a guy like that go down the way he did in the All-Star game, that's where I go, it might have happened there.
But when you think that if you leave the All-Star game and you go then on vacation with your buddies who are, who basically probably 2 or 3 of them actually work for the Sixers with Christian and who's the other guy, the photographer dude.
Yeah.
He went with them. They all know what's up. And they were still all fooling around and everything. So I don't know. Maybe it's the All-Star game and the vacation that tweaked the back and did all this. But
it very well could be. I don't know. I know I've dealt with back injuries. I think everyone has. A lot of people, unfortunately, they could be crazy things. You're feeling great one moment, doesn't bother you the next one. I'm sure the moment, if it did happen in the All-Star game, I'm sure that moment that he hit the ground, I'm sure it didn't even bother him then. It might have just been the impact that hurt, and then afterwards it probably started acting up, and then maybe it was worsened on the boat. I don't know, but I know this. I know that he's out, and I would really like it if he was playing right now, especially in these next 2 games against the Clippers and the Lakers.
Here's one last question just from me. Who do you think they're going to look at to bring in as a head coach to change the way that this team plays?
The one name that I think a lot of people are interested in because of Ben Simmons is Jason Kidd. And he didn't do a bang-up job with Milwaukee, but one thing he did do was, he certainly helped Giannis mature his career and mature his game. So that would be an interesting thing to bring in here. An interesting name to bring into Philadelphia with Jason Kidd. The other name, Tom Thibodeau, who, from what I understand, would be the exact opposite of Brett Brown in terms of running a tighter ship. I don't know if that's what this team needs right now. I would see that along the lines of a Doug Collins type that might wear out guys too early and the message might get diluted too fast. But Jason Kidd does raise my eyebrows. There's internal candidates. I don't think they have anyone that they're looking at that would take over the team right now and should go for the foreseeable future. But I do see them going outside to bring in a name to let fans know that they're serious, and also bring in somebody that is from outside the culture, somebody that would preach something different when he comes here to Philadelphia.
And Mark, how are you? Let's discuss the things we're joining us today, and that's what I think we need. Honestly.
Absolutely.
And I'm with Rob. I've maybe not since 2017, but I've been down on Brown for a little while now. I just don't think that he can bring that locker room together, no matter who's in there. You have a player like Jimmy come in, play well here, and then leave because of that reason. I feel. You've seen. I don't know if you saw what he said earlier or the other day on an interview. The man, you can tell that he has heart. He plays with heart. Our team they just don't show that. Brett Brown, I don't think that he can bring it out on this team, and that's my main concern about him being here. Like you said, I 100% agree with you. If we don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals or Finals, I think he's gone. And I do like Thibodeau. Jason, I don't know how I feel about Jason Kidd just yet. I do like Devereaux coming in and kind of changing the culture of this locker room. They're very young. Tobias Harris, he is a leader in the locker room, but you can see he's not consistent enough to require that from other guys. I don't feel, and he can have that big game. He can do all these things, but some games we just come in when we need him the most and then throw up 7 points.
Right. I think that they do need a new voice. I'm at that point. I am probably the most recent member of the "Okay, Brett, thanks for your time" bandwagon, and I know some people have been on that, even during the process years, which is crazy. But when you think about a guy like Brett and a kid like Matisse Thybulle, the moment in Miami, Matisse Thybulle before the All-Star game, they were on that 4-game losing streak on the road. They're in Miami. Matisse Thybulle just committed a dumb foul, an N1 situation, a 4-point play. And Brett Brown is on the sideline, and he's yelling at Matisse Thybulle. and Matisse Thybulle doesn't even look at his head coach. And it wasn't like he was just yelling at him. He was yelling his name, like, to get his attention. And he never looked over at his head coach. And I thought, if that rookie thinks that he can get away with that coach, that means that the veterans are backing that as well. If you listen to a guy like Al Horford a couple of months into his Sixers tenure talk about how he doesn't know what his role is, and then you listen to a guy like Josh Richardson, who just got here to Philadelphia, and he feels like he can be a leader, and he is a leader, which is fine, but he says that this team isn't playing with heart. He also says that they need a closed-door meeting. They can show up and win. Like that's the kind of mentality they play with. That's ridiculous. And then most recently, Glenn Robinson III saying he doesn't know what his role is on this team because no one explained it to him. That shows me that, okay, it's time to turn the page. I'll be shocked if it happens this year, but if this is a team that most likely doesn't make it to the NBA Finals, he's probably gone.
Yeah, I agree with you too, Mark. Mark, listen, I got two quick questions for you, and then so my quick question is, and I know you're around, you're in the city, you're wherever you go, you probably got hit up with this question. Well, how come he can't be more like AV and start disciplining these guys? Well, it's everywhere I go, I talk with people like he needs to be more like AV. He needs to be, and he needs to stop being friendly and start being a coach. And I mean, have you gotten that conversation with people where he needs to be more disciplined of a coach and stop being friendly with a coach?
Well, it might not specifically be for Alain Vigneault. What it more so is the idea of holding players accountable. Mm-hmm. And when Alain Vigneault talks about his locker room, he said this the other day that he goes around and he has those conversations with his players. Like for instance, when we had Travis Konechny on Thursday, mm-hmm. Travis Konechny said anything he says in the media, he's already told us.
Wow.
So there's no surprises. He goes around that locker room and like before he goes to his press conference, he goes to that player that might have messed up and he doesn't yell at him and all that stuff. But I mean, he might depending on how many times the player done it. But he would have that conversation with the player and then he'll go to the media and say the same thing. And a perfect example is when he said James Van Riemsdyk and Jake Voracek. He goes, I love Jake and James the person. I need more from the hockey player. Like, is there a better way to put that? No. And I think that's what and TK also said that he knows the type of guy that holds those guys accountable. So it comes down to accountability. When you have a coach holding players accountable, they know what they can get away with, they know what they can't get away with, and I feel like that makes everybody not necessarily on edge, but at least motivated to not be embarrassed in front of their other teammates by getting called out by their coach in practice. Forget about the press conferences, but in practice, in the locker room or in the dressing room in hockey. So I think those are all things that we want to see from Brett Brown.
That's true too. So listen, I got one more question before I let you go. Since the Flyers are playing the Rangers today, has there ever been a New York athlete that you wanted to drop the gloves with?
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
God. Yeah. Like I wanted to fight the whole city of New York. Have you ever been to New York? Like I just want, like God, I'll stand right outside, Madison Square Garden and say, "Hey, main event right here. Let's go, everyone." I'll start with cab drivers, and then after that, I'll work my way to Temple's own Marty Collins, if you remember that. Just because he stiffed me for an interview in college.
Oh,
anyway. No. Probably the first person I would want to fight would be. Oh my God, I'm totally blanking on his name. He played for the Knicks, the guard, the short John Starks.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's definitely one I'd want to. Pedro Martinez as a Met, I'd probably want to punch in the face.
Any Yankee. That's why.
Okay, right.
Mark Jackson.
Yankees. I would say the entire 2009 roster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, those guys. Yeah, I would take my lumps, but I'd give them two. Yeah. So and then probably Brian Leach.
Oh man. Brian Leach.
Brian Leach, Adam Graves, probably Mark Messier. I wouldn't mess with because I think he's a killer. I wouldn't touch that guy. But those are the guys, probably New York athletes that jump to mind that I'd want to rumble with.
Well, Mark, I appreciate you hopping on with us for a good couple of minutes. So, hey, Mark, I love you. You know me, I love you like a brother. So we'll do this again another time, bud.
Back at you, brother. Always a pleasure, man.
Thanks, bud.
Bye-bye.
So that was That was Mark Farzetta dropping some knowledge, man. Great guy, man. So, gentlemen, let me ask you. Let me get back to some of the one more, conversation I want to talk about with the Sixers. So, if you're Brett Brown, what's the game plan today? If you don't have your two major superstars, how do you win? So, Dad, since you're coming in, let me ask you, what's your game plan if you're Brett Brown?
Throw up the white flag.
Slide in some more.
He don't have it no more. You know what I mean? I don't like this. He ran out of answers a while ago.
Yeah.
You know? Well, like I was talking to Pat, the thing that, even like this whole thing with Joel Embiid, and me and Pat were talking yesterday. I said when last year they lost that playoff series on that quadruple bounce. At the end of the game, he goes away crying to his girlfriend. Okay, you figure, that'll hurt him. He'll come back with a vengeance. He comes back to the, and people try to compare him to Wilt, which is a joke.
No, you can't do that. Anyway.
That's a violation. Yeah. But anyway, so he goes away crying. He comes back to the scene of the crime this year. They go to Toronto, and back in the day, and Mark knows that Wilt would have came back and put a stamp in that game. He would have took him to the woodshed. I mean, I don't care who was. They could get LeBron James, get anybody in the National Basketball League history would not have stopped that man back in the day on that kind of a game.
But that's the difference, though, because even if let's say he comes back and Will comes back, and even if they lose that game, you're going to be able to see the fight in him, right? Which we don't see that in Embiid, and that's the issue. That's been the issue this whole year. He has the skill. The 49 points that he put the other day, great. We know he can do that. The question is, can he do it consistently? Not 49 points. I'm talking about play the way he did. Of course, we're not going to get 49 points every time. That's a given. That's hard to do in the NBA, right? I just need to see that heart. I need him to sweat the Sixers colors. Like, I need him to get there. I need him to be a leader, and he's not right now.
Here's what Brett Brown's got to do. He's got to go see the Wizard about a heart. That's what the whole team needs, a heart. They need heart and courage because they lack. Yeah. They don't have either one. They don't have a leader. They don't have a go-to guy. They got rid of Jimmy Butler, who, like as Brett Brown in his own words said, he's the only adult in the room.
Jimmy left because he knew
that they were dogs.
Yeah, he knew. And that's not how he
worked. Tobias Harris, he's like Mr. Softy ice cream. He ain't the leader of anything.
Jeez, you came out with some vent. I like it.
Well, I just can't understand how, Embiid, they talk about, like, Gasol, how great his defense is. I would take it personally. I remember Moses Malone when he was here, and he would if there was a new young center coming to town, he would put a stamp on that game, and he'd put a 35 and 20 on him.
Yeah.
And he'd say, okay, you're the new guy. Look what I got for you. And Embiid don't show that. Like, I don't understand it. He always like, I want to be the best player in the world and all that stuff. Then show it.
He's not even the best on the court when they play Milwaukee.
You asked what Brett Brown's
game plan
is going to be. I could sit here and tell you a whole game plan to the game. He's just going to go out there and put up 47 threes. So
it's just going to be jacking threes.
It's just going to be the same game plan he always has because I haven't seen anything else.
No, man. So, Mark, same thing?
No, what can you do? Plus, there's another thing about Brett Brown. I cannot stand his substitution rotation.
Oh, man.
You should never have, unless it's garbage time, 3 backups, non-starters in at the same time. I don't understand it. It's like, he drives me nuts. It's not just...
You know what it is, too? Like people say, he's a nice guy. Look, is Bill Belichick a nice guy? No. But he's got a bunch of rings, man.
He doesn't
There's
care.
a lot of coaches that are not nice guys.
Great Pop.
Right? I mean, they're not your buddy. I always remember when he was talking about Ben Simmons shooting. And he said, well, we made, he made the brother his shooting coach. And he goes, I knew Liam since he was 3. I don't care if you knew. He's not an NBA player, dude. You got to get somebody who could really teach this guy how to shoot and have the guts to shoot and go to. Look, to me, You learn to shoot when it's the preseason. You could throw up 1,000,000 of them, whether they go in or not.
He threw up one.
I mean, to me, you throw up 30 of them because they don't count.
The thing with that is that he needs to develop a shot. Right now, that is the last thing on my mind. Ben Simmons is so great about everything else that you need to play his skills. He's a point guard. He can very well shoot 82% from the field and put up 20 plus a game. He doesn't need to shoot. He can just drive the lane. Accent his skills. His skill set are one thing. Yeah, I agree that in the next couple of years he should develop a shot. But right now, as we stand, you give him a shooter, somebody, or have somebody shooting consistently. I'm okay with him not taking that 3 shot or that shot that he needs to.
So let me first of all, do we get these guys back before the postseason?
I honestly don't think anybody wants to be back to Philadelphia if Brett
No.
Brown's still here, man.
That's true. I mean,
Look
because
at what Mark said. Glenn Robertson has been here how long?
about almost a month, maybe,
Not even a couple of weeks, right?
and he's frustrated.
And he's frustrated already. He doesn't know what his role is.
And that's terrible because
How does that happen?
it's right. It goes back to square one. It's coaching.
He was having the best season of his career over at Golden State before coming here, and then he comes here and starts struggling.
And you would think he would be happier coming to a contender.
Right. He's coming off the bench. I mean, that might have thrown him a little bit, but he's not even close at what he was doing at Golden State. He was playing really good basketball, and then all of a sudden he comes here and he doesn't know what his role is. He's not playing that well. There's one factor that is the same in all of it, and it's Brett Brown. It's coaching.
It's coaching. That's what it comes back to.
All
But
leadership, I know. Look, they have lost 7 consecutive games on the road by double digits, which has never happened in NBA history by a team with a winning record.
wow.
It does not make sense.
No.
You can't be 28-2 at home and 9-21 on the road. It's ridiculous.
They picked the
Makes
wrong
no
guy. They
sense.
should have got Giannis instead, and either one of those 2 bums.
Oh man. Well, listen, gentlemen. Listen, we're going to shift gears a little bit here. There was a big fight that went down over the weekend, or last weekend rather. Gus, what did you see from the Tyson Fury fight that what caused this TKO?
Oh, I loved the fight. I thought it was a really good one. I do like the Tyson Fury one. I did have Wilder winning, to be honest with you,
I think everybody did.
but I like that Fury won. Just because I don't know if you've heard his whole story. He overcame some drug abuse, and he was he overcame a lot of things. Like, he was very overweight. He lost the weight. He came back, and it's a very good story if you haven't seen it. But the man's skilled. I mean, it was he has the skill to get it done, and that's what he did.
He dominated.
He did.
Totally dominated.
Wilder and I mean, 45 pounds on you coming in before the fight. I know he said that his entrance ensemble kind of weighed in on his legs, and that's why he lost. That might have had something to do with it, especially before a fight like that.
I thought it was a shredder coming out. I mean, that thing was.
Yeah, that was crazy. But honestly, even if he hadn't, I don't think he would have won. Fury just he fought a hell of a fight.
Yeah. Oh well. We're getting a. But Mark, what did you think of the fight?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't see the whole fight, but I did do a lot of research on it, and the first one was, like a split decision, basically.
Yeah.
And the second one, Fury was just all, when your corner throws in the towel, something bad's going on, and he just looked really tough in that one.
Yeah, he did. He, like I said, I saw the punch. Listen, I haven't seen that kind of punch since Punch Out, and it was
His
he
jaw
laid him
was
out.
outside the ring.
Yeah,
and came back.
Yeah, I haven't seen something like that since like the Tyson days.
I'm happy for Fury.
Hold on, man, I'll get you on with that.
It's a great story. It's a great comeback story.
Okay, well, listen. Before we get any more, fight and talk and all like that, we'll bounce back to that. But right now, the man on the line, the man from the mountains, great mechanic. He's a great man's man. He's a great outdoorsman. My man, Eddie, ED3. What's up, pal?
Hey, what's going on, Pat? How you guys doing?
Good, Eddie. Hey, listen, let's dive into this little hockey talk on this good Sunday
Ooh,
morning.
It's hot in Philadelphia.
It's hot, Eddie.
Hot in Philadelphia.
There's one of the two last year. Last year we were all sixered up, but things have changed ways to the Flyers right now. I mean, so Eddie, why are the Flyers playing so hot right now?
I mean, if you look, as soon as they drop on the back, besides there's a couple goals they give up, the first period, but they seem to be playing well. They're bouncing back. They're still starting out. Like I said before, they're still got a slow start, but looks like they're bouncing back, not letting it get too far behind. Going on a 5-game win streak here, so I mean they're playing hot. Everybody's playing good together. Lines are looking good. They got the guys matched up with the who they need to be matched up with on the ice, and the coach is doing his job.
Yeah, I mean, listen, 13 for 14 at home. That's not really bad. That's really good. I mean, they're second now in the Metropolitan Division. They've been really, really a solid team. Dad, what have you seen from this hockey team?
To me, it's really unbelievable. They turned it around so much. It's almost like St. Louis last year. I mean, they came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
To me, they got a shot. As long as they got a
Whoa!
Hot take.
Hot take it is.
No, they got caught, and like me and my pal Mark know from the old. They got a goaltender, man. Back in the day, they had Bernie. Now they got this kid. As long as you got a great goaltender in that sport.
That's what Bobby Clark says. Without Bernie, they couldn't have done it. He was the one guy that was irreplaceable.
Yeah, because you got a shot then.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Mark, what have you seen from this hockey team?
Oh, I love what they're doing. I mean, you can see what's going on with them. It starts at the top. They're buying into the system, and the coach has them playing hard. Look, third period's the money period. They have the best, best differential. I mean, he just has the lines clicking. You got like good goaltending. They're playing with heart. And it's just a great thing to see. It's fun to watch.
And you're right. I think there's absolutely no quit in this team. I mean, you could be up 3-1 on this team, and they'll come back. There's just, like you said, this coach will be in your ear between those intermissions. Gus, what have you seen?
They're the exact opposite as what the Sixers are doing right now.
Exactly.
The exact opposite, and I love it. I love the fact that we're up there. Now, the Penguins, going on that losing streak kind of helped us out also, which I love it, by the way. But that was my question to you, Ed. Now the Penguins did make a couple moves from the trade line, correct?
Yeah.
So do you think that making those moves mid-season like this can actually hurt a team?
Yeah. I mean, you got to look at the broader picture. Howard, look at the way they were playing before, and then after they made the changes. Sometimes everybody goes going home with deadlines. We got to make changes. Where look at the Flyers. They stepped back and said, we like what we got right now. Let's see what we go with. Let's take it further. You guys are playing good. Let's why interfere with that? So sometimes it hurts you, and sometimes it's good. But in their case, look how they're playing now. So big shout out to the Flyers to sticking with what they got and going from there.
Yeah, and I agree with that too, because it looks like they got that one kid they got two kids from they got one from the Ducks and the other one from Montreal. But it looks like they've bought into, like you said, they might not have fit into the Penguins, to Mike Sullivan's system. They, where these guys, Mike, like I said, AV, and he's surrounded with, 3 former head coaches. So those guys are doing their homework constantly on players around the league and on this team. So they know who to fit in, where to fit in. And look, they're buyers this year.
And I'll tell you what, we keep playing this kind of hockey. I mean, I'm with Chuck. Why not?
Whoa! So your expectations
Why
this
not?
team?
Well, no, I don't think I'm not going to say if we don't make it to the Stanley Cup, I'm out.
No.
It's not like that. My expectations on this team there aren't any really, because I didn't think they were going to play this well this year.
No,
so
nobody.
Right now, everything that they're doing, they're way past my expectations. So I'm with him. Right now, we're sitting at a place in the season where why not?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. I think it goes back to square one. It goes back to the coach's system. I mean, look at Dave Haxel's system last year. It was It was dreadful to watch. I mean, I saw the guy at the Mother's Wife's Carnival, and I had a couple of cookies ready for now. I'm kidding. So it was dreadful hockey last year. I mean, you got rid of Gudis, you got rid of McDonald. They went to the farm systems and get the young guys.
Yeah, right. But it wasn't a complete overhaul.
No.
The core team was basically the same as last year. It's just.
What's great is they're doing this without Giroux having one of them big years.
Right.
Yes.
He's just fitting right in. He's playing well, but it's not like he's having like a close to 100-point season. He's not leading the team in points. PK I think is, and it's refreshing to see the balance.
And last year they relied a lot on Giroux.
And you could see if they take a loss, the next game they win. Even when they get behind big, they come back. They're never out of a game.
No. And why did the Kings win 3 cups? Back mid 20, from 2012 to 2010 to 2012. It was basically down to Chicago and the Kings. Why? Because they were young. Why? Because they had goaltending. Why? Because they had younger, hungry superstars on that team. They had Patrick Kane. They had Jonathan Taves. I mean, speed. I mean, the fighting days are out the window. It's all about skill.
We would have the big, this guy's 6'3", 2, but he was slow.
Right.
You need speed today. I mean, that's the way to go.
I love it. I love what they're doing. I think they're having so much fun. To be honest with you, and you don't see that with another Philadelphia team.
They got the best home record too. The Flyers, as the Sixers do, but. The Flyers at least are playing 500 on the road.
Yes,
that's what you want to do. You want to.
Well, they're showing you heart. That's the thing, and that's what the Sixers are missing. But I don't. Like I said, Pat, I don't have. Like I said, if they don't make it here, I'm out. No. The Flyers right now, they're playing way better than I thought they were going to play.
No, and I'm with you. But however, I mean, come playoff time, this is where he wants.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? This year, you got to see what Carson Wentz was made of in the playoffs. You get to see what Embiid and Simmons are. You're going to see what kind of goaltender Carhart is. I mean, is he going to be able to hang with the elite teams? Because that's what the playoffs are. It's about the elite teams, and we don't have excuses here. Well, this guy's 20 years old, so give him no. The whole league's 20 years old. All 4 major sports is but young guys. So you get to see where Carhart stands when it comes to playoff time. Can he take his game to the next level or not? Eddie, what was your reaction, though, to Friday night's game with the Rangers?
It was exciting. They came back, they scored that first goal. It was expected. I'm not going to lie. That first goal went up there, I wasn't even worried. It's been typical. It's become the norm. They're starting out, they usually get a goal against them. But look, they bounced back. And they didn't let the Rangers score till the third period, and they just in my opinion absolutely dominated them after that point. It looks like they still need they need that wake up goal. They need the other team to come out skating against them before they get before they get woken up. Back to your guys' other point real quick. A lot of good things coming. I like Pops is saying they got a chance. I agree with what all you guys are saying. The only thing I'm worried about is it's a tight race. So I think it's going to come down to where we worried about other teams, whether they're going to be winning or losing, not as opposed to if our fly guys can make it all the way. Like I just said, it's a tight race. We're going to have to look at other teams, to make sure we can get a shot to go.
Yeah, and you know what, too, Eddie? You're so right because, couple of years, it's been, this time of year, we're always sweating because it's leapfrog season. Are the Flyers going to, it's always, can they make the dance? Or they got 1 foot in the dance, 1 foot out of the dance. And then when they finally, if they get to the dance, they're knocked out. I mean, look how many, and you're back to your point, though, look how many goaltenders has Crosby and Ovechkin and Stamkos put us through. I mean, we went through 8 of them last year. I mean, I'm pretty sure at some point Gritty was going to suit up. I mean, we've been through some goaltenders. So, but now we've got this kid. We got Carhart who seems to get it, and the guy we're all missing out and Whatchclaw has really stepped up his game too. Brian Elliott. I mean, on the road, he's terrible. The other teams don't see them in his house. I mean, he's really played well. So, I mean, like I said, this team is young. They got a young, hot goaltender. this could be trouble for Crosby and Ovechkin and Stamkos and those guys. I mean, like you said, this is where we're going to see if the kid can stand up against the superstars in this league. Yeah,
And it's funny to that point, and like, hey, you just said, we got to see what other teams are doing. But I got news for you. There's nobody in that league right now that want to draw the Flyers in a playoff match. They're all leery of what. Believe me, if we're 4 guys that are noticing it, believe me, the rest of the NHL's noticing it too. They don't want to get them.
There's no landslide win for anybody against the Flyers, to be honest. I mean, there's better. There's some teams playing better hockey, maybe, but there's no landslide win. The Flyers are going to give them a fight right now. The way they're playing right now, they're going to give them a fight. And
you know what? And that's true, too. And I noticed about Friday's night's game, the Rangers had no answers for the team. So what they got to try to do, plan B. They got to try to get physical. They got to try to get physical with this team because they know skill-wise they can't hang with the Flyers. So I'm hoping this is a sign for the playoffs, too. Mark, what do you think? I mean, what was your reaction to Friday night's game? What's going through your mind with this team?
I'm excited about them. Like you said, they gave up that first goal again, and it's not unusual for Carter Hart to let up a little bit of a softie in the first period. That happens, but then he gets tough. We're talking about worrying about the good thing is in the past this time of year we had to worry about what the other teams were doing. Like I hope these guys lose.
Yes.
We got to move up.
Yes.
Right now we don't have to really worry about the other team. We got the second seed in our division. We continue to play like we're doing. They have to catch us now. We just win, keep taking care of our game. We don't have to worry about what the other teams are doing. As long as we win and don't keep away from that 2-3 game losing streak, I'm excited. And like I look at it as they're playing with. They haven't won a playoff series, and I can't remember when. So
it's about 10 years ago.
It's been a long time. So I look at it as like it's not like the Sixers with these expectations. And the funny thing is, the Flyers will end up going farther than the Sixers. So I think they can definitely win a series. And then after that, once you get hot and gain momentum, anything's possible.
Right. And it's all about getting that goaltender, getting hot at the right time. Everyone knows the hockey philosophy around here. So let me ask you guys another question. What do you remember? I'll start with you two older guys here, to the old heads here. What do you remember about this rivalry that's been going on for ages? What's the memories that stand out to you guys? Mark, I'll start with you, Mark.
When I was a kid when they met for the first Stanley Cup, when they met, that was the team they had to play to get to the finals. And in that series, something significant happened. Barry Ashby got hit in the eye with a slap shot by a guy named Devereaux. And later on in that, or I think it was the following game, Dave Schultz took care of that situation. He beat him from one end of the rink to the other, and not one Ranger stepped in. And the Flyers said they knew then that they didn't have the heart to beat us, and they knew they were going to take that series. I'm telling you, he had his hair, and he changed hands. He was beating him so bad. Not one Ranger jumped in. So I was like, yeah. And then, we knew we had the series after that.
Wow. Yeah, Pop.
And it's funny, Mark, you just said that. A little while ago, me and Pat were talking about it, and I told him about Ashby getting hit in the eye by Rolf.
Mm-hmm. And he wasn't even a fighter. It's a shame, but you got to take it.
And then Schultz took him apart, like you said, and like I said to Patrick, that's why you don't see a number 4 on the Flyers anymore, because that was Ashby's number. But and it's like it's like Farzetta said, and when Pat asked him, Where did that rivalry with New York start? And who don't you like, man? That baby is so long in every sport, baseball, football, hockey, no matter what you think about.
They've met 11 times in the playoffs. 11 times. Flyers winning 6 of them.
Wow.
And not to mention, it's New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
the rivalry's there.
It's Broadway meets Broad Street. You know what I mean? It's two tough teams that like the tango, and I've seen. I'll go with you guys. Do you remember much about this rivalry?
I love the fact that you guys brought that up, because that's kind of what popped in my mind the first. For me, honestly, more on the personal side, I have a very good buddy that's a Rangers fan.
Don't bring him here.
No, I won't. Don't worry.
He might
So-
not make it out.
Yeah, I know. That's why I respect.
He
him
will
because
through that
sticks-
window.
I respect him because he sticks true even when we go to the games. Like he gets hassled the whole time. It's hilarious.
Oh, man.
But it's more on the personal side because every time that they play, it's like we kind of stop being friends for a minute and then
Right.
we come
You
back.
want to put
at
him
it.
back to your trunk or something.
Yeah, but no, it's New York. Like I said, it's a rivalry. They're right up there. Typically, they're looked at as like the big market team or whatever. When really New York hasn't really been relevant in how long? You know what I'm
No.
saying? But even if. Even still,
they're
they're still looked at the
Right.
they're still looked at like a big market team. It's like and as us, Philadelphia, we're saying I'm not saying that Philly wins a championship every year, but we're still look at a pretty good sized market, and we're 4-4-4. We have other teams here. Hopefully XFL comes next year, but
Man.
but we're not in a stand like New York. I feel like New York has this entitlement to them, and I don't like that. And us, blue collar town, we want to punch that right in the mouth,
What? Right.
and that's where the rivalries come from.
It's funny because, and all you guys know, like, no matter how bad or good, don't matter how much the rivalry with the Giants. Don't matter if the Giants stink or the Eagles stink. When they meet, it's a war. Don't matter if the Flyers stink or the Rangers stink. When they meet, it's a war. It don't matter if the Knicks stink and the Sixers stink. When they meet, it's a war.
They play up to their level. That's what they come up, or they that's what they do.
And Mets and Phillies are the same thing. It's always
man.
been like that.
They're so close to us, the rivalry and all four. It's just, it's always going to be that way.
Yeah.
Eddie, what's your biggest rivalry moment of this between these two franchises?
I don't really got a biggest one. It's just a combination of what all of you guys are saying. Like I feel as soon as they go up against each other, because we're so close that it's a fight for who's on top. It's whose territory is on top, and that's what it comes down to, and it's always an exciting game to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I remember like you guys were saying, I watched the YouTube video of those guys, like you said, the early '70s. Those guys going at it. I remember one of the Rangers said when they opened up the Spectrum, he said the fans were chanting so much stuff about his mom. He said, I don't know. He said those guys know more about my mom and sister than I do. He's like, it was really, really nasty between those two teams. I've seen, the Lindros versus the Messiers. You want to talk about they want skill for skill. Those two. I mean, the rivalry just goes on and on. Unfortunately, we had a bad Winter Classic with them when Danny Barrera trying to take that last shot, and King Henry shut that down right here in Cincinnati Park. So the way the Flyers fans, the way they felt they got retaliated on was just to take it on the other Ranger fans that were sitting there, which is not a good idea. So, but anyway. This rivalry goes back. I mean, like you said, any New York team that you see go through here, it's like it cringes your teeth. So, Eddie, let me ask you a question: is there any New York athlete that you've seen come through here that you want to drop the gloves with? I mean, anyone. I know you're not a fan of Eli Manning, so that's probably at the top of your.
No. Yeah, probably Eli Manning. He sucks. He's just like he's like the flirt that won't clear the room. The guy's over, and he's just hanging out there, and he just doesn't know when to leave. That's just, that's all I got to say about that.
So he oh man, yeah, he was he's been a tough issue. Dad, has there ever been a New York athlete that you went to square up with?
There's not just one. That's the problem. I mean, there's one in every sport. There's
right.
It just goes on and on and on, and it hasn't stopped, and it's not going to stop.
Right.
It's just going to keep. We were sitting here talking. I was thinking, and like Mark said, I was thinking, we had Perrant, they had Eddie Jockman. The 2 sevens on those teams. They had Rod Gilbert. We had Bill Barber. It just went on. There's so many of them. I remember, you know, and like you said, I was watching some of the YouTube videos. Schultz fighting Ron Harris. Like Mark said, Schultz beating up Dale Rolfe. Like he got thrilled. He was thrilled by beating up Rangers. You know? He was thrilled by fighting with them.
I honestly thought we were going to see a scrap go down between Ben Simmons and that Spencer Dinwiddie, the one that looks like Amber Fudd.
Dinwiddie, yeah.
Yeah, I thought.
No. You're talking about Dudley.
He kills us.
Dudley.
too.
Dudley,
Yeah,
Jared
Dudley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Simmons was going to have a couple knuckle sandwiches.
That
for
was
him.
actually the day that I popped an blood vessel in my eye.
Why is that?
And we won that game. I was just so angry around that game. It was.
You're always angry with that guy.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, Mark, has there ever been a New York athlete that you want to say, you know what, pal, I'll take it for this guy. You just sit back and let me go through the TV and.
Like Big Chuck said, there's been tons. But one, I don't know. It's just he would come in here, and he had the long hair, and the woman would go, oh. And I just wanted to knock Ron Dugan.
I knew you were going to say that.
Knock him on, and I thought I could beat him too. So I like this pretty
Dugan.
guy. I'll knock him the hell out. He just annoyed me.
Oh man, I mean, there's been so many guys who, like I said, so many New York athletes I've seen over the years. I mean, at one time I seen Carmelo Anthony when he first came into the Knicks, and he slapped Spencer Hawes, even though Spencer Hawes was part of the the tanking years, but still he stopped in the back of the head, and nobody got in. Nobody from the Sixers bench stepped in. I was like, dude, I want to step in and slap the taste out of his mouth. There's been just so many guys who just rubbed you the wrong way. So, but listen, ED3, we're going to catch up with you next time. We'll be breaking down the Flyers and Oilers game. We appreciate you hopping on for a few minutes and giving us your time.
Yep, not a problem, guys. Always appreciate it.
See you, brother.
Yep, see you guys later.
See ya. So, listen, gentlemen, before we wrap up the show here, let's we want to talk a little bit more about this Flyers team. So you guys are honestly thinking this could be a serious run?
I'm not saying that
Do you think
I expect them to be in the Stanley Cup. What I'm saying is, if they make a run, it wouldn't surprise me. And if they do, I mean, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't. That's all I'm saying.
They're
playing
dominant team.
Right, exactly. There's there's no sole team that is like, okay, they're going to win the Stanley Cup this year. And it's, it's never guaranteed in sports, but they're so close, man. And they're playing so hot that, like I said earlier, why not?
Yeah, I know what I'm starting to believe in this team. I'm starting to look at the other teams like the Washingtons and and the Tampa Bays of those guys, and I'm not fearing them.
The most, Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
They don't match up well against them.
No, but I think Stamkos just got hurt.
Fight.
Yeah, I think Stamkos just got hurt, so that could give Flyers a chance. But anyway, to be the best, you want to beat the best. There's no excuses you want. You don't want to say, oh, well, you didn't miss their best player. You want to beat those guys.
But what did you say earlier? We have coaching, we have goaltending, and they're playing as a team. They're playing together.
They're the things that are important to plus, and you need your special teams. The power play's got to get a little better. The penalty kill's pretty good, but they got to step that up because that is so crucial.
Well, the Flyers
playoffs.
have struggled with the
So
power play
crucial.
for years.
Yeah, so.
They need Tim Carr back.
So, listen, gentlemen, we're just about out of time. We will do this again. Believe it or not, a couple of quick announcements. My brother Chuck will be running his own show next week. We'll be down at Patty Wax having our own show. We're having a special with Yellow Jacket Media with the Crack Bell crew and Stand Up Boo First. Come and join us there. We're going to be doing a lot of big things here at Devereaux Sports, and then our crew here will be back in 2 weeks for Flyers and Oilers. We'll be breaking that game down. And so we're about to get out of here. And my man, Double R Rob Ronnie, he's all flyered up. He's got the Flyers hat today. So, yo, brother.
What's up?
And real quick question before we wrap up here, because we're about to get out of here. Has there ever been a New York athlete that you went to drop the gloves with?
A New York athlete
Yeah.
that I would want to drop the gloves with.
Yeah. Question of the day.
I mean,
You can say the whole state if you want.
like I'm a Yankee hater.
Oh, there you go.
I can respect the organization, but I hate. Ben says Jason Sehorn. Maybe like
That's a
Tiki
good
Barber.
one.
Like I would absolutely love to just drop him. Just drop him like Tiki.
Tiki
The
Barber.
Tiki Barber is another good one.
Or like maybe like even Amani Toomer.
Imani too. Another good one. Oh man. So, All right, well, listen, guys, we are about to get out of here, and you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Go Flyers, and hopefully go Sixers, and go Temple, by the way. All right, guys, we are out of here. Have a great one.